one of the most common questions that I get is, Kathleen, how do I become financially free? And it's such a good question. And it was something I wrote down at the beginning. I remember, what do I want? I want time and financial freedom. Those are the things that I actually hear the most continuously. I want time and financial freedom. But what I really want you to think about is what does that actually mean to you? The universe simply says yes to the vibration and the energy that you're putting out. So when you write down financially free or time freedom, what are you actually meaning? There's nothing for the universe to say yes to, because your idea of financial freedom might be very different from my idea of financial freedom to Joe's idea of financial freedom. So what's so important is to ask yourself, what does that look like for me? So somebody might think financial freedom is paying off their mortgage, paying off their cars, having no debt, and having a little bit of extra money every single month to go on some trips. But financial freedom for me was overflow, was abundance, like having more than enough. I don't want to just pay off everything. I actually want to have more than enough and be reinvesting, which then creates more than enough. That's a very different level of financial freedom. So you've got to ask yourself what it is that you desire and what it would feel like to feel financially free. So we manifest based on feeling, on vibration. So when you want to call in an experience, you have to feel that experience now, today, right now. So you can't manifest financial freedom by feeling financially unfree right now. If you're in a financial prison in your life and you're living in lack and limitation, you don't have enough, you're constrained, you're very, very limited in your life, you feel and are emitting that energy of restriction, of limitation. And so you aren't going to become a vibrational match to financial freedom. So the key is then we're going to decide, what does financial freedom mean to me? And map that out. Be specific, write it out. How much money do you actually desire? Not just once, not one lump sum, but on repeat, a habit, a pattern, a financial set point. So I would love to have a financial set point of $100,000 a month. That was one of my goals on my goal card in 2020, was $100,000 of recurring income every single month on repeat as a habit. To me, that felt like financial freedom. That felt like bills would be paid off. I could buy anything I want. I could take care of my family. I could help people, and I would still have an overflow of money to reinvest back into my business. That felt like financial freedom. So then the next step, once you've mapped it out, you've written it out, how much, what does that look like? What are the things you would buy? What would you use it on? More specifically, ask yourself, how would I allocate the money that would make me feel free? Right? So financial freedom isn't necessarily having money, because there are people that have money that hold it in their bank account safely and tightly and save it and never spend it and don't feel financially free. So what does financially free mean to you? To me, it sounds like prosperity. So prosperity is what you have once money is spent, once it is used, once it is circulated, right? So when I go on that dream trip of mine, I feel prosperous. I feel free. When my furnace breaks down in my house and I have to buy a new $7,000 furnace, I don't even notice the money come out of my bank and I just fix it with ease. That's financial freedom to me. That's prosperity to me. Being able to go into a store and purchase whatever you want in the moment that you want it is prosperity. That's financial freedom to me. So first, we're asking what financial freedom means to me. Then we're going to map it out. We're going to be super specific. And then we're going to say, how can I be a match? So I have said this before about vision boards. I love them. I think they're brilliant. You can do a vision board, a vision book. You can do a mind movie, whatever you want. That idea of financial freedom, put it on a big vision board and really get visual with it. Have fun with it. It's exciting. Pick out the house, go test drive the car, all the things. But you've got to ask yourself, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be to create financial freedom in my life? So could I have remained a nurse working at the bedside, making an hourly wage with a pension and benefit, and created the level of financial freedom I desired at $100,000 a month? No. I couldn't continue to be her. I couldn't stay in that identity and allow myself to have that financial freedom. So there is so much identity work to be done in order to attain a higher level of financial freedom than you've ever experienced in your life. In order to do something you have never done, it is going to require you to be someone that you have never been. And it isn't the creation of a new you. It's the remembering of a new you. And that's what I hope you get really, really clear on and you realize. And my book, The Best of Yourself, I mean, it's all about remembering the best version of you. Is there a version of me? Is there a parallel reality where Kathleen is a billionaire? Yes, there absolutely is. And so all I'm doing is allowing myself to tap into the version of me that matches that reality. And I'm remembering, oh yeah, I'm a badass. Oh yeah, I'm really strong and powerful. Oh yeah, I make big investment decisions. Oh yeah, I'm a mogul. I've built an empire. Oh yeah, I'm an icon. Like, these are all the types of words you can use to allow yourself to remember who and what you really are. So to answer the question then, who do I need to be, is the second step in financial freedom, in creating that identity of financial freedom. So the first question then people ask me then is like, okay, how do I create the new identity? And I have a lot of courses and programs that are 6 months that help you to do this in such a big way. So I'll try to condense it here in this episode, but essentially I have this 4-step process that came through. The first thing is to ask yourself, what is that? So when you say, I am that I am, what is that you are going to be? So who do I need to be then? Answering that question is the first step in reprogramming the subconscious mind, in allowing yourself to create a new identity within the mind. The body naturally expresses the identity that is present within the mind. So you don't have to change your habits and force yourself through motivation and accountability to be someone different if you actually go back to the beginning and go into the mind and reprogram it there. You will effortlessly be it. Your body will follow, it will express based on the idea in the mind. So we have to ask the question, who do I need to be then? And once you access your imagination and you go to the place where you're financially free. So you have the house of your dreams, the business of your dreams, you go on the trips, you have the charity, you're a philanthropist now, you have the financial freedom. Who are you? How do you think? What are the thoughts going through your mind every single day? What's the feeling that you're in? You feel pretty badass, pretty strong, pretty powerful, pretty free. And then what are the actions you take? What do you do every day? What do you do now that you wouldn't be doing then? You know, what sort of actions do you not take today that you would probably take in a place where everything was going really well and really, really good? So asking all of those questions helps you with that first step of what is that? What is the new identity? Who am I? And then the next step is to ask yourself the question, how can I be it now? So what would be something that I could do today that the old me wouldn't do, but the new me would do? So the old Kathleen wouldn't have bought the Louis Vuitton purse. The new Kathleen did. The old Kathleen wouldn't have invested in a VIP marketing package or plan, but the new Kathleen did. The old Kathleen, the nurse identity, wouldn't have started her own business. She would have been too afraid, didn't know how, and would have never made that decision. So what decisions would you make, and what are some of the things that you would do? And I call this practicing being. I don't really love the words act as if, and I don't think that they're wrong, and if they work for you, amazing. But for me, when I hear that act as if, it feels like I'm pretending I'm acting. Let's pretend to be. I don't want to pretend to be, I want to practice being. Like, I want to practice embodying that. So we ask the question then, what is that? What is the identity? What are some ways that I could be that identity now? Start doing that. So practice being it in every moment. And then the fourth step is to just allow yourself to be it. So let me give you a little example of when I was in network marketing way back when. I decided I wanted to be an elite level leader. So that was a certain leadership ranking in the network marketing company. And I was 2 levels below it. But I decided I wanted to be that level. And of course, you know, Bob taught me, we're not going to just jump to the next feasible level. We're going to skip levels. So I wanted to manifest 2 levels higher. And we had a conference coming up. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the conference and I'm going to practice being an elite level leader in my mind, in the way I show up, the way I think, the way I dress, the energy I hold, the vibration, the way in which I see myself. I'm going to show up at that conference as an elite level leader. I wasn't yet in the physical observed world, but I took on the identity and practiced being her. So I sat down and I journaled, okay, as an elite leader, who am I? How do I show up? How do I think? All that beautiful stuff. And then made the decision to walk out into the world wearing the elite leader shoes. I say, put the shoes on of the next identity. So I put those shoes on and I went to the conference and I showed up. So I sat up taller. I sat closer to the front. I wore an outfit that was just a little bit stronger, made me feel a little bit more powerful. Put on a perfume that was a little bit more expensive and luxurious. And I thought, okay, how would I be walking around this room right now if I was an elite level leader? Well, I'd be proud of myself. I'd feel accomplished. I'd probably be pretty confident. And so I walked into that room with strength, with power, and I let my energy just spread. And I was kind and I said hello to everyone. And I walked by people and introduced myself. It was like, really, in that moment, it was like, who am I right now? Like the old me would have sat in the back, been quiet, not be seen. But I made myself visible. I made myself known. I introduced myself. I sat near the front. And this girl sat next to me. And I'll never forget, the first words that came out of her mouth were, oh, I'd love to meet you. What's your name? And I said, oh, Kathleen Cameron. And she's like, oh my gosh, when did you become an elite leader? And I went, oh, this works. Like I didn't tell her I was. She just assumed it based on the way I was showing up, the energy, the vibration. So the world will respond to you in what you think about you. And so she just naturally assumed that. And in that moment, I said to her, well, thank you so much for seeing that in me. I'm currently, 2 levels below, but the elite leader thing is next. It's on the way. And she was blown away. She's like, your confidence you exude, the power that you hold, I just assumed that you were. And this is what I mean by practicing being. So then guess what happened next time I went to the next conference? I walked in there as an elite level leader and I wasn't practicing anymore. I actually knew that that's who I was. It was a knowing deep down in my body, in my soul, that that's who I was. But there's going to be that moment where you're going to have to show up and you're going to have to practice. So when we go back to financial freedom then and the identity around financial freedom, what does it feel like to be financially free? What does it feel like to wake up in the morning and have calmness of mind? To be able to not worry about what's in your bank account, to be able to spend when you want to spend, feel how you want to feel, make decisions every day from that place of prosperity. And the thing of it is that you can never become something in the 3D observed world that you aren't willing to first be vibrationally. So that version of you of being financially free has a feeling. That version of you feels a certain way. And so your job then, every single day in this 3D physical world, is to get up, to get dressed, and to feel financially free in this moment, to notice the abundance and the prosperity all around you, to notice how money does already make you be free. But if you are seeing limitation, if you are seeing restriction, if you are saying, I can't afford it, I don't have enough, making money is hard, this is too expensive, I'm penny pinching, I'm broke, I'm poor. If you're speaking in those ways, you are not a match to financial freedom. So the key is to feel that way now. One of my favorite books is You Too Can Be Prosperous by Robert Russell. I know I've talked about it a lot. And he says something in that book that is very powerful. He talks about the importance of having an inner sense of plenty. So when you have an inner sense of plenty, so this does not mean that your outside world is telling you have plenty. You have an inner sense of plenty. This is how you manifest plenty. So you cannot manifest from any other place. So I very, very often will tell myself a story of how abundant I am. And I did this when I wasn't physically abundant. So when I didn't have millions of dollars coming into my life, I still told myself how abundant I was, that inner sense of plenty. And we can look around at our lives right now in this moment, and we can see all the abundance everywhere. So you're listening to this podcast, you might be driving a car. Well, that cost you a pretty lump sum of money. And you might be wearing a jacket and a pair of shoes, and you have a purse sitting next to you, and you have an iPhone sitting on the car there playing music through the car. All of those things cost you money. And if you think about your house, then you have a bed, and you have a bedside table, and you have a coffee table and a couch and a TV and kitchen that's filled with dishes and filled with pots and pans. You know, you have a pantry full of food. This is all plenty. This is all abundance. This is all prosperity. But when you are coming from a mindset or a way of thinking of I don't have enough and I want more, you will not see the plenty all around you. You will see the limitation. So my car isn't as nice. I would want a better one. My couch is ugly. I need to replace it. My bed hurts my back, so I need to get another one. This old thing, it's old. This is what we say all the time. Like someone compliments us on something and we say, oh, this old dress? You know, I've had it for 30 years. But what we're doing is we're downplaying. We're telling a story of lack and limitation when we can so easily tell a story of abundance and prosperity. The last thing that I will say too about financial freedom is that it is all relative, right? So the law of relativity is one of my favorite laws. And the reason I love it is because I know how to use it to my advantage. So you can use the law of relativity to compare yourself to someone or something that has a lot more than you and make yourself feel like you don't have a lot. Or you can compare yourself to someone that doesn't have as much and make yourself feel like you have a lot. So this is where I know that I'm going to compare myself to people that have less than me, to situations or experiences that it's taken longer, because it makes me feel like it's going easier. But the other thing I always say too, I'm 4 years into my business now, but I keep saying it, and I'll probably say it 20 years in, this is only the beginning. And that way of seeing life is so cool, because what that does to my mind is it tells me I've got tons of time. I have so much room to grow. This is only the beginning. But if you're like, oh, it's been 4 years and I still haven't become a billionaire yet, you're limiting yourself. You're making it feel like you're running out of time. You haven't done it fast enough, you know, that there's something wrong. So your mind will tell you whatever story you want it to tell. And I've just really, really learned how to control mine. And through teaching you guys, you should be able to control yours a little bit better now too. I hope that's my hope for you. But that is the true embodiment. So true embodiment of this work isn't just listening to what I say, writing it down on a piece of paper, and then keep going on and thinking the way you're thinking. It's truly starting to think a new way. Observe your thoughts. Allow yourself to notice what they say, what they mean, what the story is. Change the story, change the pattern, change the program, and allow yourself to be open to levels of financial freedom you've never experienced. And what I want to tell you right here, right now, is that Kathleen, that nurse, would have never expected this level of financial freedom in her lifetime. Never would have expected to experience this level of money coming at me as quick as it does. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in a matter of 30 minutes. And I'm telling you because I want you to know that the level of financial freedom that you desire, you can have more, but you have to start somewhere. So start at this level and then move up and then move up and then move up. But it really is all available to you as long as you're willing to see it for yourself. I'm no different. There's nothing special about me. I know some people are like, oh, don't say that. No, there is nothing special about me. I am a woman who decided to go for it, and you can go for it too. And remember that the limit does not exist.